What up, Chipper Chaps? This is the Chipper Chap Chat, episode 10.
We're doing this as 10?
We said it was going to be 10, so we might as well have it be 10.
Let's make it 10.
There's always confusion at the beginning, every time.
It doesn't matter at this point. Whether it's a 10 or a special, it's a 10/special.
And we're going to have a special guest on this episode. You want to do the introduction there, Jeffrey?
Alright, our special guest today is a mate of mine from university, also the co-writer of RandomVeus, which is a book that I did, called Leonard Bermingham.
Oh.
Say hello, Leonard.
Thank you very much. How's it going, guys?
Great. It is going great, because this trailer is so good.
Oh,
He's already starting already.
And today we're going to talk about the Batman-Superman trailer a little bit more in depth. We brought it up last episode, but we just really briefly talked about it. This time it's going to be much more in depth.
All about it.
So I guess first we'll do like a quick rundown of what is actually the content of the trailer. And then we'll talk about how we feel about it, what we think it means for the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah.
So basically the trailer starts out with a whole lot of voiceover. It seems like maybe some sort of debate happens in the film of Superman's role. There's definitely Neil deGrasse Tyson, so I feel like it has to be some sort of larger debate kind of event, maybe some sort of a congressional hearing or something, where people would be talking about what his role is in the world, because now they've discovered Superman exists. Obviously it's not a secret anymore because he destroyed an entire city in fisticuffs. So it's a lot of people debating his place, what it means for someone that powerful to exist, and you get to hear Lex Luthor's side of it, I guess, in a really quick soundbite of. It sounds like he basically thinks Superman is no bueno for the whole situation of Metropolis. He's got to be bad news bears. And we get a look at the Superman statue that they had some pictures of, some on-set photos of a while back. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. It looks really, really massive. You can't really tell in the opening trailer shot because there's nothing really around it.
Although, I gotta say, like, if it's that big... That's whoever spray painted that thing on his chest, was pretty hardcore.
They had to take a ladder up there and
absolutely a lot of effort because it was like thick lettering.
If you have a look at where it is on the chest, how would they have done that with a ladder, like with the Superman pose?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Difficulty. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Batman that did that. I was like, fuck this guy.
Batman.
Just grapple hooks onto the shoulder and just abseil down and spray paint it onto it.
No. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what the grappling gun's for. So we get a look at the statue. It's been vandalized with a false god scribed across his Superman logo. No longer means hope to these people, apparently. Then we get our first look at Bruce, while we get a small soundbite of Alfred. What was his now infamous line in it? It starts with fear. Yeah, the fever. The fever. And basically, it seems like he's describing what's happening to Bruce. Is that you make people feel afraid and powerless, and they get angry and rise up. You get to see Ben Affleck's brooding Bruce Wayne, which is.
Did he say rise up?
No, he doesn't say it, but that's the implication, is that they will be cruel, and to be cruel against someone who makes you feel powerless, you have to suddenly not feel that way.
It's that wording though, man.
And then you get a glimpse at the Batsuit, which is still under white light. So you kind of they seem like they're being really like mysterious about the look of Batman in this movie. I don't know how I feel about that, but you get a look at the suit from the face up, and it's definitely the most comic booky Batman we've ever gotten.
In terms of
just the aesthetic design of it. It's
but we can get into that further in a bit when we discuss.
And straight from there, you get to see what I'm guessing is Batman maybe in Gotham in some sort of subway. Someone has asked if they thought it was supposed to be Grand Central Station where Superman kills Zod, but to me it doesn't look nearly as open. So I don't think that's what
and plus it looked like it was more narrow. It was way darker, unless of course they were just like, yep, we're going to close the station off because somebody's neck got snapped in here.
And I'm going to assume that it's not. To me it looks, I'm assuming it's probably somewhere in Gotham again, because there is that little like Riddler tease in it. That I imagine, these are like their street gangs. This place is lived in. This is what Gotham looks like to me. It's all tagged up. It's a lot grittier and beat up looking than Metropolis is. Because both Metropolis and Gotham are kind of allegories for New York. So Gotham is the shittier New York, and Metropolis is the like bright version of New York that everybody kind of shows in movies and whatnot. But you get to see that little bit of him looking, I guess it looks like he's in the Superman battle suit thing already, and then like a jet flying by and blowing up a bunch of dudes. I don't know if it's the Batwing. That's what's speculated, but I can't really tell.
Also, if it's the Batwing, and you know how Batman doesn't kill, I don't know about you, bro, but shooting up a bunch of people, I'm pretty sure one of them's
There's that, but we're only assuming Batman.
Of course, based on this whole assumption on nothing. Yeah,
this Batman chills up on a rooftop with a sniper rifle, so we really don't know what this Batman's capable of.
Maybe he's a crazy Batman.
Maybe he is. Maybe they have to balance each other out. So maybe Superman's got the we don't kill people rule. Although he shouldn't have that because he just snapped a dude's neck. Maybe all of the Justice League are murderers this time around.
Maybe.
But so you get to see a little bit of the potential Batwing, a little bit of the Batmobile, and then you get your first shot of Affleck in the suit. It's real brief. But he's in the suit, and he is massive. Then, again, like I just described, you see him up on a roof with a rifle, and then you get the infamous now, I guess, I don't know if this is the same footage that they showed at Comic-Con, but it's him in the battle suit with the light-up eyes, straight out of the Frank Miller book, and with the line, do you bleed? You will. And that's kind of how they go out and then show title. And then, now everybody's debating about how they feel about the new look of Batman and the Batman voice and so on and so forth. So,
and that's what we're going to do in this episode.
We're going to have that very debate right here with you all, but not. Okay, so I guess right now as it stands, just as the quick overview, I lean pretty heavy on the positive side. Leonard seems to lean pretty heavy on the negative side, and Jeff falls somewhere in the middle. So I'd like, if possible, to have Leonard speak his thoughts on it first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to discuss my dislike of this entire trailer.
Yay!
Yeah. Because I found this would be a perfectly okay trailer if it was say teaser trailer number 3.
Okay.
So if we had a couple of trailers before it that sort of really set the groundwork for both, if there was a Superman trailer as trailer number 1 showing his struggle since the end of the first movie to where he's in this movie, and then the next trailer being a trailer pretty Batman-centric, and then having this, the third trailer, where they come together, and then that way it feels like that would have been a bit more hype. Right now, Sorry, go for it.
No, I was agreeing. Go ahead.
Yeah. I just didn't like the entire tone of the trailer, and with all the information that we've gotten so far, with everyone that's in it, that this is only going to be a small dust up before the real villain, hopefully, who is Lex Luthor. Again, completely subjective, kind of, hopefully he is the main baddie of this that unites everyone. But just even the language that Alfred was using describing the city with that overlapping with seeing that first pouty face of Affleck. Go back and look at it frame by frame. That's a pout. That's not somebody, that's like somebody took my donut and I'm sad now. Like, that's not a man filled with
He did. His face was kind of like, did somebody drink my hot chocolate?
Oh, man.
And then it really, I know they're going for the real Dark Knight look with Batman. So, that explains the sniper rifle. And I get the armor because you need something, because if it is a real fight between Superman and Batman and you saw him snap a Kryptonian's neck, it's pretty much, it's a no-win fight for Batman at all.
Right.
I cannot stand that one line, like, do you bleed? Like, like, as in for somebody who's grown up reading and watching Batman and playing through all the Batman games, it just feels so out of character for him. Like, I know it might be a jaded old man Batman, but it just really, like, ground me the wrong way.
Now, you've read, I assume, the Frank Miller Dark Knight comic?
Yes.
He doesn't strike you as that flavor of Batman?
It does, but even, again, it's only because it's the trailer. It might there might be more context needed for that line,
right.
And it might just be that's a cool line that somebody's grabbed out and chucked that into the trailer.
Uh-huh.
But, like, right now, like, everyone still remembers the Bale Batman, and everyone remembers that kind of sort of, like, a city needs a hero kind of Batman. And now it just looks like, oh, somebody else is coming into my turf. I don't like it. I'm going to fight you kind of Batman. Which, again, because we've only got, 2 minutes 15 worth of footage,
right?
Like, we don't know exactly, like, what sparked this fight between them. Mm-hmm. But as, like, looking at it right now, I just do not like the direction that they went with it.
I guess that seems fair. Now I suppose now is my opportunity to tell you why you're completely wrong. I think that I gotta say, man, this Batman, from the start, everybody's been ready to shovel shit on top of the Batfleck concepts. Like, nobody was on board for this. Lots of hate instantly out of the gate as soon as his name was brought up. Not for me. I think that it was a strong choice. I think visually he's the closest we've ever gotten to what Bruce Wayne actually looks like in the comics, in my mind. I think that the Batman suit itself is the closest to anything we've got actually out of the comics. All the Christian Bale armor shit, like, I get it if you're trying to make it like nobody has powers in this world and you're just fighting people with guns and gang lords and stuff. Sure, give him a bunch of, like, visually obvious body armor and whatnot. But if you're fighting cats like Superman that has a giant S on his chest and he's flying around, make him look like comic book Batman. And I think that they definitely went for that. It definitely seems much more the Frank Miller type. He's huge. The bat symbol is huge and wide. I really like the bat voice, and I love the line, "Do you bleed? You will." It's ominous, and I feel like Batman, he has to be that kind of guy in this world where he's supposed to be the physical, like, representation of fear. I think that they're nailing that. And I don't think to me it doesn't seem like a "you're on my turf, I'm going to fight you" thing. I was explaining this to Jeff when we were talking about it. I think it's very much like I've got to prove to you right now, because I've seen what you're capable of. I've got to show to you that if you were to go bad, if you do take advantage of the kind of power you have, there is a guy who can take you out. I'm that guy. So I'd like that idea. I'm sure it'll we're all going to need more context. Like you said, it is only 2 minutes and 15 seconds, so it's not a lot to go on. But from what I gather from what the comic book was like, what I gather from other Justice League stories, like what's the animated one where somebody, like, uses all the Batman gimmicks that he set up to take down the Justice League members, he uses that against them? Do you know what that one is called?
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I remember it was based on. Was it based on Morrison's run in Justice League as well?
I think so.
I think so.
It's but yeah, I think some like is it an alternate universe or something. Somebody uses basically all the stuff all the fail safes that Batman has set up against the Justice League, and I think that he set up and established like he's like no matter what. You guys are my team or whatever, and that's cool. But if any of you were to snap for whatever reason, someone takes over your mind, Poison Ivy takes you over or something, I've got a backup plan, and I can take you all out. That's who Batman is in the comics, so I'm excited about that concept. I don't know so much what's going on with all the stuff with like the Superman SWAT team.
The ones that were bowing to him?
Yeah, they were bowing to him, and they had the big Superman S emblem on their shoulders. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's not a reference that I am familiar with.
This is what I meant, like, if there was another trailer before it, where, like, if for some reason part of Metropolis have now sort of thought he's now like a god and have begun to worship him, and then that's where Batman coming in as sort of like that bit sort of at the start where you see him and there's those people with all that face paint on trying to grab him.
Right.
Like whether it's like he's got some sort of crazy religion around him now, and then Batman sort of representing just the regular man going up against a god.
Right.
Like that sort of that's the kind of idea I could get behind. It's just like I don't know if it was explained that well in this trailer. Like if they're again context and everything like that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, I could imagine that. I guess it's interesting. I didn't interpret it that way with the people trying to grab on him. I assumed that was them letting us know that he's more of a world hero now. He doesn't only do stuff strictly in Metropolis, because I think that that was like Mexican Day of the Dead makeup. So I'm assuming he was like helping a bunch of people in Mexico. And also like that big thing that he's holding up at one point is like a Russian like cosmonaut satellite thing. So I'm assuming at the beginning of the movie or something, they'll give us like him saving a bunch of people all over the planet.
Thing about that though is that could actually be all those scenes could place after. Like this Batman thing could be at the start when he doesn't know shit about Superman. That's why he's like, I got to take him down, otherwise, because he's so he's such a powerful being that he finds him absolutely threatening. So he's bringing out Batman's bringing out all of his guns, everything he's got basically, just to be like, I'm gonna have to take him down. But then he's like, maybe because he doesn't know shit about him yet. Even after all his research, I don't know nothing about this guy. He can't really research a being that that's never existed on this planet.
Right. And I think there'll definitely be some of that. Although I imagine that Batman-Superman fight that happens has to be like a second act kind of fight.
Yeah, it's not that can't be a final act, because if that's a final act, then it's like, this is a weird movie. So it literally is a Batman. Like can't have two heroes really fight without one being an actual villain.
And they seemed like they had set it up in a way where you could interpret either one of them as the villain. Which is interesting, but yeah, I'm really curious what role Lex is going to have in this one. I can't imagine that he'll be pulling out a giant, mecha Lex Luthor suit.
Nah, it's too soon.
I can't imagine that's happening.
It's too soon for that.
But at some point, they have to fight someone else, right? It really could just be them fighting each other, but I just can't see that. Like, there's got to be some reason that they come together by the end, so that there's a Justice
that's the
League,
thing.
right?
Like, again with the trailer, like I understand both points of views, like both of your views. I see the positives and negatives about it, but I'm still I'm more indifferent about it, because I get nothing heroic coming from, obviously we know Batman's backstory. Right. He does what he does for the city. He does it in whatever means necessary. What they're showing anyways, again, like the whole context that Leonard's talking about, I get that, because it's like we're not seeing any of the reasoning, like any of the full reasoning why Batman's absolutely going batshit crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is a teaser still.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's why it's like, as Leonard was pointing out, it's like, it's not really cool for a first teaser to show them, like, I know the title is Batman v Superman, and that's what people want to see, but I'd also like to see their actual points of views. Like, it would have been good for each teaser to be like, okay, this is Batman. Here's his deal.
Yeah, I mean, it could have easily come out that way. I just think that there's a certain degree of exactly what you said, is that the movie's called Batman v Superman, and that's what people are going to be hankering to see. The average fan just wants to see, like, oh man, these guys it's called Batman v Superman. They're going to fight. We've never gotten this kind of movie before. And,
And again, like Batman should be aware that these are superpowered beings. So regardless of what you bring to him, you're literally fighting a physical god in a sense. I know that line in the end was like, "Do you bleed? You will," or whatever it was, right? And it's like, okay, you can make him bleed, but making something bleed doesn't mean you can kill it.
It doesn't mean it, but I think that again, they've got to show if anyone can.
Did he say
will.
that? Oh yeah, and did he say that to basically say, listen, I can make you bleed to prove that you're not a god?
It's that. What's that other... There's another movie where they have basically that same line. I mean, not Predator. That's the one that came to my mind immediately.
You mean a better...
Yeah, there's some other one where he's saying that, you prove that you can make it bleed so that other people understand that they're not a god. You bring them down to this level that, something can be done. And, again, if there's anyone who is supposed to be doing that, proving, it feels like Batman is the one.
The thing about this also is, all right, he proves that, okay, this being that everyone is praising as a god, he can bleed, so he is mortal. He's not as powerful as you think. What does that make Batman out to be then? What is he trying to paint for himself?
I don't think he's doing it for other people to know. I think he's doing that for Superman to know that that you can't just do whatever you want because there are people who can stop you.
So he can't just go out and save people. He can't just do heroics.
You gotta
he can't
keep
stop
in mind,
a
dude,
beat from space.
I don't think he's gonna be just doing heroics. He can't be, because all this stuff with like the SWAT team members like bowing to him and stuff.
Yes.
Superman's gonna take it too far. You got to keep in mind too. He hasn't been like Superman forever and saving people. He hasn't saved fucking anybody on purpose. Like,
wait, he hasn't saved anybody on purpose in the first film, but who knows how long it's been since the first film?
It's been 3 years.
I'm sure
it's been 3 years.
Has it been 3 years? So he can't have done nothing.
Exactly, he can't have done nothing. But I'm saying he has to do something in this that makes Batman decide that he needs to show him.
Dude, but the thing is, like, based on this trailer alone, it's almost like, I saw what you did to Metropolis. Based on that alone, I want to stop.
Well, I mean, you're putting that emphasis there, but they don't say anything in the trailer.
But that's what they've shown, though. They haven't shown shit. They just showed Batman really angry at him, putting on that Lego suit. And that line. It's like but it's making Batman to look like he's just angry at Superman.
Like, all they've shown from this trailer is, Superman going around the world, saving, if we go with the...
Or doing whatever, doing his own thing.
Then Batman getting, like, angry and jealous at him and then putting on that suit and telling him he's going to bleed. Like, if we're just going by...
jealousy, though? Do you...
Well, what is it based on? Fear. It's based on fear, absolutely.
I think that he, in this movie, based on what they said at the very beginning, all the dialogue, and based on what they showed,
all the dialogue,
I think Superman is going to do something to assert that he has more power, and that's why he's an authority. And Batman has to prove that even though he has power, there are people who can do something about it. And I think that it's literally a reaction to him making people feel powerless. Now, whether that comes from all the debating, maybe Lex convinces him, because I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of business world aspect.
And see, that's the thing as well. The whole Lex convincing him, I don't like that.
Yeah, it feels more like that they should have cut out Batman from this trailer and pasted Lex in, even if he was in that dorky giant suit that he usually wears, because then it would feel like that's the motivation for Lex. He's like, he doesn't want to feel like a small like a little insect compared to this god. he wants to be the best human on on the planet, which is like that's his complex, and that would explain why, if he starts bankrolling and helping Batman design this sort of suit to take him out, or however it's going to go. Like, it really feels like Batman is playing Lex Luthor in this trailer right now, and then like.
Well, I feel like Lex's role is going to be minimal, because I feel like this movie is setting up is basically going to be the setup for a larger universe, right? And they've said continuously that this is not the sequel to Man of Steel. It's another movie, but it's not the sequel. So I think Lex will be like the villain of the proper Man of Steel 2, and this will be his origin as a like, okay, I was just some business guy, but now I fully hate this dude by the end of it. And what Superman's relation is to that, or what Bruce's relation is to Lex, sure, we don't know yet, but I think that's part of what makes teasers interesting, is they don't give us any of that information. They go, here is a tone, here are some of the characters. I bet you can't wait. And for me it worked. For some people, obviously it didn't, but for me it worked. And I don't like Batman. Like, I'm not a Batman fan, but this one signs me on board.
And I think that's the thing, because Leonard here is a fan of Batman. This trailer doesn't make any sense to him.
To me, like, the Batman that I do like is the Dark Knight Batman. And not counting the Christopher Nolan Batman, because I hated Christopher Nolan's version of Batman the whole way through. Bale was terrible to me. He didn't make a good Bruce and didn't make a good Batman. So this idea of them going finally like, oh, you want to see a like comic book movie? Here's a comic book movie. We're gonna stop giving you a regular crime movie where some dude dresses up like a bat. We're going to give you a comic book Batman movie. And that's rad to me. I'm excited about that. This is their opportunity to flip it for me and give me a live-action Batman I can get behind.
But then even going by that, though, and going for a full comic book Batman, they're only picking, one story out of the entire Batman mythos to base it on. Then that's not even like a clear picture of Batman from the comics. It's Batman from one series of comic written by one writer. Like, Batman doesn't run around with a sniper rifle in any other version of Batman except for Frank Miller.
I mean, but do you well, from what I remember of the Frank Miller comic where he showed up with the sniper rifle, he ended up shooting a grappling hook with it. So it wasn't even like he's up there taking dudes out with it.
Mm.
So, I mean, really, with just a silhouette of a gun, there's not a lot of context, so it could go either way.
And I mean, again, like, I think the dispute really with this is context, because we're not given a lot of context. We're assuming that we're basically placing a lot of things onto this minute-and-a-half trailer. We don't really know anything about this. All this could take place within the first third of the film, for all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know the reasons behind why they're fighting. We can understand aspects of it, but not enough of it. It's all speculation at this point. And because like we're assuming that it's based on this one sole thing, that's what we can only understand from it. And for all we know, we get a lot more of the Batman thing. We can understand his reasonings. We can understand that he's afraid. We can understand a lot of these things, but and it could be a great film in the end. We're just basing it on this one trailer, and I'm indifferent about the trailer. Clearly, you're super happy, and Leonard is obviously just not pleased with it, because again, we're not given enough of it, but we're also, what they've shown doesn't really go with all of what we know of him.
I don't know, man. It just, for me it does. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, for you, it clearly does. For me, I'm like, it's so mixed.
What part of Batman are you saying that it's violently going the wrong direction?
I'm not saying
Leonard?
I'm not saying it's going against, Batman at all. I'm just saying it, like, right now, there's only very certain storylines that ever have Batman in that suit. It's usually when he's going against Superman. And
Right.
very rarely does he ever hold a gun, because of, it's pretty well written in throughout the whole books that he hates guns because of, his parents getting killed. So it has to be something really drastic for him to be holding that gun, whether it be for a grappling hook.
I feel like that's in some comics that he has the anti-guns thing. He started with a gun on. Like, he had a sidearm. It was part of his outfit.
From the very, very... But no one's ever going to basically go back to that. He killed people in the original story.
But I'm saying, like, why is it not okay to bring Batman to that level in a movie where Superman also can snap a dude's neck?
It might be, it might just be something where the ends justify the means, where, Batman, the only way that he can sort of go up against this god is by, getting into an Iron Man suit and getting a gun and throwing everything he can possibly think of at him. And if that is the reasoning for what we're seeing in the trailer, then I guess I'd be okay with it. But right now, with all the footage we've got, it doesn't feel like Batman. Batman, to me, was always more of the detective, and he would be finding ways to outsmart Superman rather than from what we see, at the end where he's just standing at that shipyard, calling him out. That doesn't seem like how Batman would operate, to my mind.
You don't think that that's what's happening in that scene?
Or it might be where he's trying to into the open sort of thing.
Because I totally think that all the bravado and all the, do you bleed and all that, that is a trap for Batman. That's a trap for Superman to show up. And I think, I was telling Jeff too, I think he's going to be the part of the key that synthesizes kryptonite or whatever they're going to call it this time around. He's going to figure out a way to weaken him. Because all the terraforming and all that shit from the last movie had to have had an effect because they were trying to turn Earth into Krypton. Yeah. So some bits of that area are going to be kryptonite-like, I imagine. And Batman, if doing research about him, I think he's going to, they've said in interviews and stuff, this is going to be the detective Batman we never got. Like, in the Nolan universe, he's not a detective at all. He couldn't even figure out what was going on with Catwoman. He was like, oh, she stole my shit, I found out later. He wasn't very good at detecting. He was kind of terrible at it, but he was good at hitting people with elbows and, sound like Cookie Monster. I'm hoping that this is a calculating Batman, and in his pouty pose or pouty face or whatever moment, to me he looks like Bruce Banner, trying to bottle in every bit of anger that he's got in his body, all the stuff that he's had to keep contained while he's not been Batman, because he's supposed to be a post-retirement Batman or whatever. That that's got to be tough for him. In the Frank Miller books, he's literally drag racing and trying to kill himself and get that adrenaline rush or whatever. And I think that there will be a bit of that. Also, it seemed like from early behind the scenes stuff that he's saving people out of costume. I don't know if that's going to be a flashback of maybe how stuff was going down for him during the original fight with Zod. Maybe he was out in the streets when that was happening or what have you. It's really hard to tell. It's crazy to me that we just got this trailer now and the movie doesn't come out till next year, and they filmed it last year. It's the weirdest.
I think that's also one of the issues. I think that's one of the issues as well, because there's such a long period in between. We're not going to know a lot about this film until the closer date. But even closer to the date, we're still not going to know a lot about the film.
It's hard to say what's going on with that. I mean, I know a lot of people at the beginning were saying oh man, they're going to pull a switcheroo. They've been telling us 2016, and they'll drop it randomly in the end of the year this year or something. And I don't think that's going to happen at all. But
that's a lot of balls if they did.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy.
They never do that. Not for the amount of hype that they could bring and have people just chomping at the bit for it. There was no way they would be just oh, hey, Batman Superman comes out next week. Surprise, guys.
Yeah, they could do it. Because they put so much money and effort into building that buzz.
Yeah. And also, if they were oh, we should release at Christmas, and I'm you're going to compete in Star Wars.
Yeah, they're not doing that. They wouldn't even keep Batman Superman at its date to compete against Cap, so...
That's true. I mean, they were fearful of that, and they probably still should be at this point. If they're going to make money. All of them are making money regardless. It's going to happen.
That's definite. But Marvel also knew what they were doing because they're like, we're not going to move. We understand it's Batman versus Superman, but we haven't even told you that our movie is Cap versus Iron Man.
It's everyone versus everyone.
It is, but it's mainly a Cap versus Iron Man movie. It's a Cap versus Iron Man story. So I'm pumped for this though, and I think that from what I've seen, what little I've seen, because they really, really did not show a lot, it makes me excited to see, mostly I want to see more of their take on Batman this time around. I'm excited.
I want to see some Bruce Wayne doing the
I want to see that. I just want to have a Batman movie where I like Batman more than I like Batman's villains.
Yeah.
Where you actually like Batman rather than like, oh, this film was only good because of the Joker.
To me, Joker,
yeah, actually,
Joker
that's a good
saved
point.
that
really
movie, because if it's just growling Batman and he just was fighting more thugs again, I would be so bored with that movie. I never cared about his love interest.
As well for that.
So, what was that?
If we go to Nolan's ones, I really reckon, Heath Ledger was great and all that, but I really reckon Eckhart is Dent Two-Face really saved the movie for me. I reckon he had a
great.
Actually, yeah, he was great. But again, villains.
Yeah, we're not.
It was the villains of that film. Yeah. It wasn't even like Batman. Like then again, if we talk about the Keaton films, Batman was a prop just standing there.
He was, but the Keaton films, like to me,
they were
very villain centric. But that was the spectacle of like, holy shit, we got Jack Nicholson to be in a comic book movie.
Yeah.
In the first one, and in the second one, I think that they decided it was gonna go so over the top that to me, I think they're really still like as great as Joker was, even as great as Eckert was. Catwoman and Penguin are my favorite of the takes on the Batman villains they've done so far. Even though that Penguin was so weird and like coughing up tar at the end of the movie or whatever.
But I actually liked that depiction.
Yeah, I
loved it. Was creepy as
I loved
shit.
it, and I loved that Catwoman. She was weird and aloof. I didn't like her origin per se, but
with the resurrection
of
cats.
Cats licked her back to life, whatever that shit that was.
That's weird.
But in general, I liked it. But I think with the Nolan movies, I think as time goes on, people will like those movies less. I think that, especially Batman Begins, like, I think everybody was excited because they were like, oh, they're taking Batman seriously. So whatever this movie is, it's awesome. And I think it was kind of awesome at the beginning where he's like, not the beginning of the movie, but at the beginning of his career as Batman, where he's like being a ninja and taking out mobsters and stuff. That was really wicked. But then they go, and then here's a little shitty bit about Ra's al Ghul and like how Qui-Gon Jinn is secretly Ra's al Ghul. That stuff did not work for me at all. That was completely... Ken Watanabe, if you're going to do like weird Asian Ra's al Ghul, that was a way better choice than giving a secret Qui-Gon Jinn. I didn't like that at all. And then in the second movie, they got both the villains fantastic. Joker was awesome, Two-Face was awesome, cool. And then in the last movie, what the fuck happened with Bane? I was not a fan of that shit at all.
What about Talia?
Talia too. That was such a waste.
Talia was a phone-in at the end. Like, that just felt like a cop out, just a way to like depower Bane and make him like into a pussy kind of thing, and then get blown up by a missile with a bike.
Right, like, that was so wow. Oh, speaking of Bad Man, you've got to watch that one about Talia, Bane.
Dude. That one is best so Bad Man. It's so bad. It's so good.
But yeah, I agree. They put that little bit in there just so that they have a way to explain why he could beat Bane at the end. And I don't know, even that version of what Bane was, the retarded voice decision aside. Yeah. I just didn't understand.
I love that voice. I love it. It was dumb. It made no sense.
The voice by itself, if they had given it to some other random character.
Yeah. I love that voice. I just love that voice. I love that voice.
For Bane, like,
why wasn't he Mexican?
Right. Well, and that's one thing. If you're gonna do Bane and give him the origin where he's Hispanic or whatever, that's super legit. But if you're gonna completely take away the the base of what that character is. He's roid rage personified. How do you? It just seemed really bizarre to make him just the same as Batman, but he's stronger than him.
And a gentleman.
Yeah, and what a wonderful voice, or whatever the fuck you said.
Wonderful voice.
It's just it killed me so bad, and the fact that they ended it with the basically a $200 million version of Batman running down the pier with the bomb in his hands. It was such a misstep for me.
Well, he didn't run into any nuns though, so I think that's what you're really pissed off about. If you ran into a nun,
yeah, that would have changed it for sure.
Yeah. And he wasn't holding it above his head.
But it was the equivalent. It was a giant round bomb that he had to run away with.
So basically, the hopes. All right, let's now speak of the hopes for this Batman v Superman. Since we've just been talking about the things that we didn't like about the previous Batmans.
I hope for Detective Batman.
What are your hopes for this? But also, what are your hopes for this film? The characters that are going to be involved, which we know are going to be Wonder Woman, we know are going to be Aquaman, Lex Luthor's going to be in here. What are your hopes for even Superman? Like, what his role's going to be eventually when it leads up to his own Man of Steel 2 and
as
also
far
Justice
as the
League.
extra characters, I want this movie to end with them meeting or whoever else they're going to show in I want to see Wonder Woman in her suit, in her costume. I know she's in the movie outside the costume because I guess she's supposed to be some sort of love interest for Bruce or something, which is fine. It's happened. But I want to see how legit would it be if at the very end of the movie they've shook hands and they're best buds or whatever they're gonna do, and then they go, "We've got this base," and they take Superman up to it, and they've got a satellite base, and all the rest of the Justice League is already up there chilling.
That would be weird.
I would be so pumped for that. Then you skip.
It would be awesome. I would be excited, but it would be weird based on this teaser that we're getting.
Well, clearly they're not going to be
eventually
on the
leads
moon
to
or
that.
whatever.
Yeah. But then the name is called Dawn of Justice, so it eventually has to get from point A to B.
Yeah,
Look,
I know Cyborg.
What the hell is gonna?
Yeah. I'm assuming he won't be Cyborg yet, but Cyborg. Pre-Cyborg is in it. We know Wonder Woman is in it. We've heard rumors that Aquaman will have some sort of appearance. It's hard to tell what this is going to be because they showed so few scenes in it. Almost all of it is at night, and I'm assuming the movie's not going to be all fucking at nighttime. That would be a real drag.
I hope not.
God, no.
So we've got to assume we haven't seen a lot. We haven't seen Lex at all, and we've got to assume he's got to have a pretty substantial story involvement. There's lots and lots to see. You don't put Jeremy Irons in it as Alfred and then go, he's got one line of dialogue. You'll never see him again. So there's plenty there. As far as hopes, I want to see Detective Batman because that's what they've been teasing, and visually, I want to see a comic book version of Batman. That's what I want to see. Because the Burton movies didn't have it. The Nolan movies didn't have it. This one could do it.
Leonard, what do you want to see in this?
Well, pretty much the same sort of thing, really. I'm hoping that this is just, almost like a twist where, as you guys, I think we're talking about it before, what if this little fight here was him testing to see if Superman's good enough to join their Justice League, and it's already been established. That'd just turn the movie on its head kind of thing for me. And then that...
Actually, yeah.
But what I do want to see a comic book Batman on screen. I want to see a detective and somebody who, can calculate and work out the best way and the weaknesses to strike a person down. I want to like this movie, but with what they've given me now, I don't know if I can. But I'm hoping that, I get proved wrong, and I'll be happy to come back onto this and admit that I was wrong and it is a good movie. And that's what I want.
But the thing is, there's no one wrong at this point because we're based everyone's got an opinion. So clearly, it's fine to not like what you're currently seeing.
I'm saying that, but it's just I want to like it. I really want to like it. Make me like it.
Yeah, I think of all people, you're make this amazing, please.
Yeah, to me, that's the hope with any comic book movie. Cause, no one wants them to be terrible.
No, there are some people out there though. You're like, this is gonna be shit, and I know it's gonna be shit, and I'm glad it's gonna be shit.
To be if I want it to be good, because all that does is make Marvel try harder.
Yeah.
Even though at this point, man, they're fucking knocking it.
They are, but if this movie comes out and it's even bigger of a hit, what would that do for Marvel? They'd have to up their game.
I don't know. To be honest, their game is so fucking high, bro.
Yeah.
Their game is so fucking high. We've only got Man of Steel, so they're the ones that have to prove that, hey, there's also somebody else that's doing some kick-ass shit here.
Yeah,
I just think with what Snyder's action is like, that whatever he's going to do with how Batman fights and whatnot is going to be insane.
Yeah, with that, Batman fighting in the Arkham games, that's cool and all. That's really cool. To see him fight the Batman villains like that, amazing. He's if he's gonna try and pull those moves against Superman, it's just weird to me.
I don't know. Do you remember what he did with
Superman would have to be so depowered.
Yeah, Superman's not gonna.
He would essentially be
from Batman and just.
No, exactly.
Well, you got to keep in mind he's gonna be depowered, and that suit's got to be elevated in power. He's got to put tech into that suit that makes him stronger. And the fact that keep in mind how they fought in Watchmen.
I'm hoping that Wonder Woman actually gets a substantial role in this film. I'm hoping that because obviously if they have to prove that, this is the Trinity, this is Batman, this is Superman, this is Wonder Woman, they all have to. The reason why they're the three is because I want them to tell us why they're the three.
Yeah.
They can't just have here's Wonder Woman. She's kind of like a female Superman. Show it to me. Don't just say it. Show me why she's all right, I get why she's one of the three.
Do you think that we'll actually get any action out of her in this one?
Eventually, if not in this film, we have to see why she's Wonder Woman. We have to see. Obviously, this film will probably prove why Batman is Batman. Fantastic. But then, pegging down all these other characters in order to prove that, it seems a little weird. It's show strengths in without having to basically show the weak, show that you can beat down everybody else. It seems weird to me how they. Well, I don't think it's going to be him beating everybody. I think that he had to show that regular humans could do something against Superman. Absolutely, him. But then obviously that will also show us that will probably give Lex an idea. It's hey, I can take him down.
Well, those are pretty much the two humans that have that ability to take down Superman are Batman and Lex Luthor. So to me, that's how that has to go. Because, of course, Wonder Woman's going to be able to hit Superman and it hurt. Aquaman's going to be able to cut him with his magic trident.
I wouldn't even say hurt. Oh, yeah. It would probably hurt him.
I think that those ones are more obvious how the other Justice League members could fight Superman, so we don't need a lot of that. But Batman's got to show that humanity, just humans, can fight him.
But the thing is, with the whole Batman beating on Superman thing, I don't want to just see the Batman beating him physically. I want to see him actually break him down in a game that Superman can actually play as well as Batman. The whole physical thing seems to overpower him physically, it seems weird, but I understand he can get to that after he's outsmarted the shit out of him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You guys have read the Batman Hush, how he fought. Batman fought Superman in Hush. I would like that fight to play out on the big screen because that was purely Batman using his brain and using the terrain and using every trick in the book he had to beat him rather than just going toe-to-toe in a slugfest. Because
a slugfest is not what I want to see. I want to see him, like, if a slugfest is going to happen, I want to see the thing prior to that led to that and how he did it. I'm sure we're going to get that, though. Hopefully. I'm hoping
I think that we're going to get some slugfest, but it will be the reason why it will be a successful slugfest is because of all the pre-preparation from
No, that's what I'm saying. I want to see this pre-prep.
I'm sure they'll show it. They've got to show it.
Yeah.
Because
they need to show it. No, that's not like, it can't just be like, oh, here's my suit. I want to take you down.
Yeah. I want to see Batman go full Home Alone on him. Like, I want him to go in the corner and crack around the house.
He's gonna MacGyver everything. Yep.
Yeah, like, that's it, and like have like Superman slip on some micro machines and fall down a set of stairs. I want Batman to
and an iron's gonna fall in his face. Yeah. I want his head to go on flames from opening the door.
He's gotta hit him with paint cans filled with kryptonite.
Absolutely. See, but yeah, like him, literally, like I've led you here because I've set booby traps everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I've got you cornered. Like, I'm going to get you here. I know this suit, it's supposed to look like I can tack you with this. I can take you on with this. But this is essentially, like, only part of it. You're only seeing a fraction of what I've got planned for you. Just so I can at least get you on your knees.
I'm calling it now, dude.
Just to get you down.
They're going to be fighting or whatever, and it's going to be Batman getting mollywopped a lot. And over the course of the fight, it will start to shift, and Batman will start doing better in this fight. And then he'll be like, oh man, why am I so fucking weak all of a sudden? And they'll be like, you've been breathing in fucking kryptonite dust in this rain or whatever for hours while we've been pounding on each other. I made this thing just to keep me alive, not to beat you.
Yeah, it's like, I'm literally dead if it wasn't for this
armor
suit.
Is just to keep me alive.
It's like, you've broken every bone I've got right now, but I'm standing so that I can prove to you that a man, if willing, can bring you at least level
right.
You
A billionaire
down.
With lots of toys can do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Which Luthor also
exactly, man. Exactly. They're flipped. I think that's what they've got to show too. Is that in a way, Lex and Bruce
are
basically
flip sides.
Yeah, they're flip sides of the same coin.
They're almost the same person, except one is.
I think they're both
Bruce
insane.
Wayne is fucking crazy. Yeah, they're both fucking crazy.
Yeah, just, one uses their insanity for good.
Yeah, justice.
Yeah, so, I think that all of those are good hopes. I'm hoping for all of those things as well. So at least we can agree on what we want it to be.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We all want to love this.
Yeah, we all want the same thing here. We all want a good movie where we see Batman be Batman and Superman be Superman, and, see them kick the snot out of each other for a little bit and then turn and, hug it out and become the Justice League. Everyone wants that. Yeah. I just want it to be good.
I want, yeah.
But with what
is seen, I just want it to be presented
with what
well.
Is seen and the tone of it and whatnot, what do you think that means for the rest of the upcoming DC cinematic universe? Are they all going to be this dark thing? Because they did say early on that they want their universe to be something different than what Marvel's got, so they're going to take it very serious. There will be humor, but it's not going to be jokey movies,
Well, I don't know why they would want to go away from what Marvel have created. I mean, Marvel have created this strong universe, and they can go the ultra serious route if need be, and then they can go the really jokey route with like Guardians of the Galaxy. If DC pigeonhole all their movies are going to be like this and look like this, they're really only aiming to the real sort of comic booky fans, because, not everyone wants to see everyone be dark and brooding and menacing. That's why people like Batman over Superman. Batman's the dark brooding one, and then Superman's like the hope. Like, we don't want to have two Batman characters in the same movie. We don't want Batman in a Superman costume and then Batman in a Batman costume. We want to have, lightness and darkness.
Yeah, so it's going to be really hard to have a dark and gritty tone when they do Shazam.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I don't reckon...
That's it.
I'm hoping they don't try to make this tone with every movie, because then, you'll burn your fan base out. I mean, that's what was good about Marvel is, with the different movies...
Everything's different.
Everyone has their own different flavour, but they all know they all sort of join together. I mean, because, if they had... all right, we'll go with, the Daredevil Netflix series. If Marvel came out tomorrow and all right, everything we do from now on is going to be this dark and this brooding, would you want to see a Guardians of the Galaxy movie that was that ultra-violent and that serious?
It would be odd.
It'd be weird. The characters would be weird. Like life isn't always humorless. Yeah. But even in Daredevil, we got humor.
Yeah, but like as you're saying, like a Shazam movie in this sort of style, I don't know, would work.
It's weird. Yeah, in my head, it just seems bizarre.
Because I mean, Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever you want to call him, he's like the same sort of thing as Superman. He's like that hope. He's that positivity. Like you want that to show through in the movie.
And he's also 12 when he's not in costume.
He's also a kid, exactly. Yeah.
But no, look, 1 or 2 movies with this sort of darkness then are good, but then you want a whole well-rounded sort of thing so you can have people pick and choose and not just see this all same dreary, rain-soaked movies that you've got.
It's just grey. Everything is grey or brown.
Yeah, I think a little bit of my hope is that this Batman v Superman movie, because they're transitioning in Batman and the rest of the DC universe, that Batman can kind of take the darkness with him, and that in the Man of Steel proper sequel that we'll start to get the smile and wink at the camera Superman that we all kind of like.
It's gonna take I think because it's so dark, and also even the Man of Steel being like so grey, we haven't the transition from the grey to now whatever this one's going to be, which seems very dark, to get to light, to get it to the light part of it, it's going to need working. Yeah. It can't just be an absolute switch that. It seems like it's a very challenging task.
That's why I think I'm hoping that they end on a note with this one, where now that he understands vulnerability and he's no longer in this position of global domination or whatever, that he can go back to being.
He can
represent the giant hope symbol on his chest a little bit more.
I hope that's the case, because if that's the case, then fucking awesome. I think we'll win. I think as viewers we'll enjoy that more, because I'm sure people want to see a Superman where he actually super.
Right. Not
just in strength and in ability, but, he is that being that we can look at and be like, yeah, it's going to be okay. There's a person like this that exists that can actually do
I want to see a montage of him actually saving people.
Yes.
How different would that Man of Steel fight have been if the whole time that it is happening and they're breaking all these buildings and stuff,
he's worried about everything.
Trying to catch everybody that's fallen out of that building.
Yep.
He has to do all these insane rescues of people at the same time as the fight.
That movie would have been so much. Yeah, that people would have loved that movie so much more if they saw him save multiple.
That's
people.
why I felt like Avengers beat that movie in my mind as far as their big colossal everything is getting destroyed sequence, because the Avengers were actually trying to save people in those scenes.
Yeah, definitely. If Superman actually showed that he was super and was trying to do everything, I think one of the main gripes for me for Man of Steel, going back to it, was him not trying to save people even without the costume when he was younger, listening to his dad, that doesn't scream Superman to me. I have this ability, but I better keep it secret and not save all those kids on the bus and that sort of thing. His dad telling him off.
He did save him, though.
He did, but then his dad was like, "You probably shouldn't have."
Yeah,
and it's like, why?
His dad was like, "You probably didn't need a busload of witnesses to see how good you were. You should have just let them go in the river. It's okay." He would have been fine.
So he would have been like,
his dad wasn't really good at vacation.
I would have told him, push the bus out of the lake, but then really quickly don't be there anymore. Don't just stand there reacting to it so they can look at you in the face. I agree though. I think that.
But so then he wasn't really taught.
He wasn't I think that was a bit of the failing with Man of Steel, is that the parents didn't teach him all those heroic and strong moral things that they're supposed to.
We didn't get
it
that.
It was all about just protect yourself. They won't understand you.
Yeah, and it's weird. It was mainly about the fear aspect.
Exactly. That was
Like
weird
his
too.
dad died, making sure that he's like, nope, keep your secret. I'm just gonna go stand here in the middle of a hurricane, but don't come rescue me.
Yeah, don't. No one can see you. You're that quick.
That's why
even though
I
there's
thought
that much wind
his
around
death
and
was
debris.
his death was more impactful in the older franchise because it was just a heart attack. It was something that he could not prevent no matter
That's
what his
exactly
ability
it, yep.
was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like with all his power, he is powerless
right,
at that
and
moment.
with all that, and it was much weirder and like more of like a psychological screw job to be like, I know you can save me, and you could probably save me in a way where
Yeah.
nobody sees it happen, but just stay there and
it
watch
was
me
weird.
die, because I know you can see me from there. So just watch me
Yeah.
get eaten.
Actually,
up.
watch me. Actually, watch me. Yeah. Watch
Yeah,
me.
that was a bizarre
Don't move.
choice.
It's like stay there.
But
Stay
hey,
under the
man,
bridge where you can
that's
save
the
everybody.
Goyer style, right?
That's why I'm telling. Like everyone's loving Goya, and I'm like, he is so hit and miss with me, man.
He peaked at
More
Blade
miss.
2, I feel like.
Yeah, because Blade 3, which was all him,
Awful.
was he's the worst.
Come on. What about
Blade 3?
the
Just because Triple H was there, bro, doesn't mean it was great.
hey.
With his silver fangs
He was cool though. He was.
and his vampire
He's the shining
Pomeranian.
light. Oh.
That movie was such a shit fest, man.
But yeah, I'm just hoping, with the upcoming DC flicks, that not all of them is grey or dark in tone. I understand being serious, but you can be serious with, forcing it down us. I know. Are they planning like a cyborg movie?
Yep.
That seems weird. I don't know if anyone would care. But then again, no one really knew or cared about Iron Man before Iron Man 1.
Right. And, they have the
So-
potential just to make it so it's a black guy Iron Man movie.
That's true, but he has to be as charismatic as Downey Jr. and stuff.
That's going to be tough. That's gonna be
That
tough.
is big. That is big.
Because
big,
he's
big work.
Robert Downey Jr. sold everyone the character of Iron Man purely based on his charisma.
That's exact. Absolutely. If it wasn't for him, I promise you that would not have done
Yeah,
well.
if it was going to be Tom Cruise, imagine how different that movie was going to.
It would be different, but again, Tom Cruise, that's still power,
It's star power, but it's not
It's
nearly
star
the same
power.
kind of charisma. Ethan Hunt in my mind is not Tony Stark.
No, not at all.
Look, it would have been.
But yeah, I hope good things. I hope good things.
Yeah.
You were saying, Leonard?
Oh no, I was just saying that well, one thing, he does have sort of a crazy kind of charisma, so it would have just been a really different Iron Man, and then you could have seen. You definitely could have seen the alcoholic Iron Man then at that point if Tom Cruise was playing him, but
Maybe.
just going back to the DC stuff, and they're talking about the announced movies and how we're hoping lighter ones. How much would it suck if Man of Steel 2 is then him versus Doomsday? Because that's not going to be a lighthearted movie or him showing him how to save people.
It would
Yeah.
be kind of weak sauce. I really I think that the second one will be him versus Lex proper.
Well, yeah, like
I hope so. But again, how is that? That would be cool because hopefully you get to see, Superman be super and then Lex be like, I don't like him.
yeah.
That's all he said. I don't like him. Humans should save humans. Get out, alien. Get out of my home.
Yeah, that'll be a great one. We should
Just
let
make him sound like Eastwood from Gran Torino. Just like, get off.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
screaming
that-
at Cheers.
Get off my lawn.
I would pay money
Yeah,
to
he
see
just
that.
doesn't like
movie.
aliens.
Would you?
Oh.
I
I
don't
would
know.
pay money to see a cranky old Lex Luthor yelling at Superman as he flies around saving people. Just like, stop doing
Get off my skies. You're in my
Well, I gotta
airspace.
say, I hope that does not happen.
I'd pay. I wouldn't like it. I'd still pay to watch it off.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that if they ended up doing Doomsday, would be kind of rushing it. I feel like it's the same as we were talking about before about if they'd use Darkseid in Justice League. I think it's just blown your load too quickly. You can't go with like the end all be all. Like Doomsday is kind of the big deal bad guy. He's the guy that killed him. So you can't start. You can't really start with that.
him. You can't start with him.
And I think that it's the same with Darkseid.
With Darkseid,
you can't go like, here's Thanos right off the top. Now what do we do? I think that you've got like I can definitely imagine them doing Brainiac before
Brainiac's
I can imagine them doing Darkseid as the first guy.
Well, I really think they're almost blowing their load with this one if they're introducing all of these people into this one movie as well. I mean, you have to show the balance and everything like that. But, if they had, introduced Batman, Superman in this one, and then, make it like, well, you don't want to copy the Marvel movies too much, but, have Man of Steel where he fights Brainiac, and then, he bottles Metropolis, and Superman then needs help. And then that's when, hey, look, all these other guys are coming out of the woodwork to help you. Like, I really feel like, there's a lot of hype around Wonder Woman and a lot of hype around Aquaman from the pictures that are floating around the net. And I just don't want... Again, my hope for this movie is, it's not, let's throwing everyone in here and create the cinema universe in this one movie rather than building it organically through a couple of movies.
Right. I agree with that. I just think that it would be kind of a tough sell with at least the Superman that they're establishing to bottle a city. I think that's a pretty far-reaching comic book concept that I can't imagine them doing. But, I've also seen Stranger Things, and I didn't expect them to go this route with Batman, so who really knows? But, yeah, I think if they did Brainiac... I could imagine that working out the same, because then you kind of go like, oh, the rest of, everybody can fight all these robots or whatever. They can do like the Avengers method where there's tons of fodder for them to fight, basically. Like, we haven't really seen yet in them. I mean, I haven't, so maybe you guys know something I don't know. But we haven't seen them all fight just one dude. So I take it we get to see that finally, which is cool. But I'm saying, like, as far as the what is out here, we haven't really seen a team fight just one big threat without all the fodder.
That's true.
And so I would like to see that. Like, if they did a World War Hulk type of deal where everybody has to fight Hulk at the end. That idea is cool to me because it really would take a team of people to fight that guy. So, that kind of concept is cool. That's why the idea of them fighting Darkseid is cool to me. It's just I can't imagine them doing that straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is blowing your load really quickly.
But then,
they have a larger they've got more rogues, so yeah.
Does Justice League have a lot of rogues though that are like Justice League, like other than like Starro, who I cannot imagine they're gonna do?
Huh.
That's cool though, man, Starro.
I can't see that one happening on the big screen.
It's a zombie movie kind of thing, though.
Which one?
You could do the Starro like a zombie kind of thing, where all the little fishes over, well, the little star fishes over everyone's faces, and having everyone get infected.
I just can't imagine.
Because you can't kill him. You can't kill him because there's still people underneath.
Actual, like, legitimate comic book reader fans, who are a very small minority, buying the idea of starfish villains. I just can't see it.
Alright, but, like, check it. It's not like you can use the concept of Starro, right? But it's essentially Starro as a parasite.
I get it.
If it's the fear of a parasite taking over the rest of a group of people, and you not wanting to kill the people, but still trying to remove the thing.
Trust me, I get why it is a threat.
As powerful as Justice League guy, it's like, what the hell are we can't just like punch him and hope that the parasite's gonna pop out of their ears or something.
Can't see it happen, man. I get why it's a.
You know what? I reckon if written well, it could be great. Then again, if anything's written well, it could be fine.
But there really aren't many Justice League baddies. It's sort of like Darkseid or like all the villains in one team, or it is like a Starro, or geez, what do they have in like another virus? Like that seems to be the thing. It's either viruses or like somebody stealing Batman's plans. Like they're really your main.
Yeah, it's like fucking Batman. It's like, you dickhead. If it wasn't for you, this cunt here wouldn't have been like taking us
what
down.
I'd like to see, because again, this is another thing we haven't seen as far as these big movies, is the anti-team. I want to see Legion of Doom
Oh, see, that would
That's
be
why,
sick.
like, that's why I was telling you, like, if the Infinity War thing doesn't end up where it's like Thanos re-releases all the people that are trapped in the Infinity Gems. Yeah, I
Red
want all those
Skull,
guys back, and they're
Ronan
go.
the
We have the
Accuser.
anti-Avengers. It's all of them at once. Deal with that shit. Like, to me, that's
Well,
exciting.
I'm still the big boss.
So if they do
Yeah,
Legion
oh,
of
man.
Doom in the same kind of way, where it's, Black Manta and Lex Luthor are all like, okay, we really don't want these guys around, even though we don't necessarily like each other, we need to put that aside so we can take these super friends out. I like that idea. So if they did that for a Justice League, if they could introduce the Justice League at the same time as Legion of Doom, I'd be totally fucking fine with it.
Yeah, that would be pretty rad. Because it's like, wow, this is geek overload. And
It
I'm
would
loving
instantly
it.
make it different than the Marvel movies because they've not.
That's
done
really
it.
true, yeah. Unless that's what they actually have planned for the Marvel movies.
Oh snap!
Infinity War. Yeah. Ooh.
In which case, they'd be like, oh, yeah. I mean, there's no signs of it yet, but anything is possible.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd love it. That's the end of that one. I'd love it. Is the tag for that? Because man, that would be so fucking cool. We've never got anything like that before. But yeah, I think that concludes my hopes. You guys got any final statements?
No, I want to like it, and I want it to be good. That's it. That's my hope.
All right, so everybody that listened, you got to write in and comment. Let us know, was Leonard right, or was I definitely most likely the one that was right? And so don't be afraid to be really mean to Leonard.
Or are you indifferent?
In the comments.
Or are you indifferent about it?
Yeah, or you can be indifferent, but you'll still be wrong about it.
Yeah, because, yeah.
But yeah, so to me, let's end on that note of hope. Let's start using S instead of hope. But I really S this movie is gonna be good.
I super end this movie.
I really S that Batman's gonna be awesome. I really S that Superman can start being more of a hero. Let's get it.
And you know what? Even if, say, from this movie, Batman teaches Superman how to be a fucking hero, I'm okay with that because he's been supposedly Batman for, what, over a decade now? In this film? Like, well, wow, years. Like, he's got more experience. He understands that being a hero is not just about, being superpowered and stuff like that, because clearly Batman's not superpowered, so it's about the people. So, yeah, even if that happens, I just want
I can get behind that.
I want it to be good.
That is something that I can definitely S for, because Superman and Batman are supposed to be the two top dudes over there. So I want to see top-notch superhero activities, And it's really the same thing for Wonder Woman. That Trinity has to be impressive.
I want the Trinity to prove why they're the Trinity.
But here's Essen. Let's hope it's good shit. But for now,
thanks for joining us, Leonard.
Yeah, thanks for sitting in on this amazing debate. Hopefully, we can get you back for.
I reckon we should get you back on once Royce has watched Avengers 2. We can all talk about
next
Avengers
Thursday.
2. It's too late.
Wait, is that for you next Thursday?
Yep.
Next week already? That's good. Congrats.
I just bought my tickets today, so
Oh, snap! Hopefully by then we'd watch at least like another 2 more times. At least.
You've got 1 week to make it happen.
I'm so tempted just to go watch it once a day.
Do it. Show how baller you are.
Well, I've got nothing to do. I'm doing nothing every day. So it's like, I can just take the bus to the local cinema, watch an early session, go back home and be like, yeah, watched it again. Cool.
That is awesome and sad, but you should definitely do it.
It's not sad, bro. Happy.
Just a statement of I've got zero things to do.
Well, I mean, I can draw when I get home anyways. That's all I'm doing. So I could work when I want to and, watch this film when I want to.
You gotta do an Ultron piece.
I'm tempted to, but I'd rather do some redesign or
Do
something.
it.
I'm just
Maybe
saying,
that could be a next jam.
Redesign Ultron. Could be.
What was that, Leonard?
Oh no, I didn't want to spoil anything, but there's a couple of things you could draw from that movie that I'd be quite happy for you to draw. So.
Oh, that's true. There's so many goodness, Royce. You're gonna love this.
Does it live up to the hype?
I think it exceeds.
Do you
it
think
for
it
me.
was better than the first one?
I think I think I could say this. What do you think? I should go, Leonard.
No, I reckon it lived up to the first.
Yes,
it definitely did. I can't say. I don't want to say any more.
Yeah.
There's just so many bits that it's just on the tip of my tongue. That it's and then that, and then this, and then
Yeah. All right. Here's what I'm gonna say. It lived up to the first, and I think it did it differently. Mm-hmm. It did it different enough to not just be a repeat.
Okay, so we're not gonna just see one robot get killed and then all the rest of them fall asleep.
No.
Okay,
No.
good. Because that was my main.
No.
That was my main
No,
worry.
it's definitely not that.
No.
I'm excited. I've heard nothing but good things about Ultron's sense of humor and whatnot. So
I caught the AMC episode where they did the spoiler-free review last night, and while they brought up some good while they brought up specific points, I'm I did a lot of the things that they did bring up. I'm I saw those things though, so I'm not sure if they just because they didn't see it, they brought it up as a negative. But a lot of the stuff that they brought up that they weren't really sure that they enjoyed and stuff like that, I was but I saw those things.
Right.
So did I just see them and they not? Or was because I know what I'm looking for. I know what to look for.
I was really curious. They mentioned in that review that they never really explain why Tony's back in the field.
Yeah, they do. At the start. They even it's shown on one of the trailers as well that he's pretty much just bankrolling the team.
Oh yeah, that was a trailer.
Right,
Yeah,
but I mean they had said in Iron Man 3 that he was oh, I'm done now. I'm not going to be Iron Man anymore. But then they say at the beginning of this one it's a huge sequence where he's working with the team again.
It makes sense with some of the stuff that follows on from Iron Man 3 and some of the themes from Iron Man 3 and most of the themes going in this movie as well. Why he's back.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, that's pretty exciting, man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what these other random cameos are.
Yeah.
I've heard Rhodey gets some time to shine, so that's exciting.
I'm just, I can't wait to talk about this proper, where after you've watched it, we can actually just let's finally geek out about this. Because then, without having to bite my tongue. Because I'm there's so many times where I was just going to say one thing, I'm oh, I shouldn't have said that because that's something.
Right. We'll have to do that. And and I guess we shouldn't do it here because this is the Batman v Superman thing.
It is, and you already heard of our thoughts, so.
But I guess with that said, thanks for kicking it, everybody. Thanks to Leonard for having him stop by and talk with us. Hopefully we can arrange to do the geek out with him after I've seen it. Hopefully we can prep a time that works for everybody. And maybe we can even get Rob in here or something.
Oh, maybe.
Hopefully. We'll ask him. We'll make sure he goes to see it. How do you not go see that when it comes out?
I don't know. You're an idiot. You can't be too busy to watch it on opening day. If you're a fan of things like this, there is no excuse apart from I'm on my
if I'm not seeing these movies the day before, something is tragically wrong.
Actually, I was gonna say if I'm on my deathbed, this is
right. You better wheel my dead ass into the theater to watch it.
If I don't watch this before I die, I will kill people.
You're taking people out with you.
Yeah, I'll bring people with me. So just let me watch this. I'm dying already. Let me watch this.
Wow. Well, I'm definitely excited to see what you guys have seen.
It's not that though.
But yeah, thanks for kicking it, everybody. Until the next one, stay chip or chap.
Stay chip up.